Hello, good evening, welcome. It's Friday evening and it's another day of Upstreamedia's YouTube show. I'm Chris Hughes Rebound. Today I'm joined by Nicolette from Palatinates and also GB Star herself. I'm really excited to have her on. Welcome to the show and I hope you're well.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for inviting me. I'm good. Under the circumstances, I'm healthy. My family's good, and I'm just trying to make the best of the time as I can. But I can't complain at all.
Of course, I totally hear you there. I feel very lucky that Rupert and Upstream Media have given me this opportunity. If you're new to the channel, Upstream Media do live streams of men's NBL D1 Tennessee Cavalier home games during the season. And they've been doing this daily show, which I'm honoured to be part of their Upstream Media family, giving great content to you guys, keep you guys entertained. Um, I think a lot of you would be aware, obviously, we've not had basketball. I've lost count now. I think it was eight weeks. I think that's probably as long as I've been off, just with being in this group. I've sort of not been working, but having a lot of time to deliver basketball content. I thought maybe we'd start with that BBL and WBBL trophy. I start before the game. What was your thoughts going into the game? So obviously, there was a lot going on, not just basketball-wise, but in terms of health and the current pandemic. What was it like going into that game compared to maybe other finals?
Yeah, I mean, never in my lifetime would I imagine that there was going to be a pandemic that would cause sports leagues, sports events around the world to be put to a halt. And before going into the game, we obviously had heard about these teams, leagues being cancelled, and we felt like we were one of the only leagues as well with the BBL league that was still playing this game, and it's a big event, which we felt made it worse. We have fans coming to the games and things like that. So, that was also an uneasy thing because you had part of the team that didn't feel that it was safe to do so, or they didn't want to take the risk. And then you had, part of the team that was like, okay, well, let's just go and play. It's a final. If Leicester are still willing to play it, we don't want to forfeit the game. And stuff like that. But we came to a decision as a team, and we stuck to it that, if this was going to be the last game, that we will go out and play it and just put it to the back of our mind and focus on the final.
Definitely, I say there's obviously a lot of pressure. I think it was one of the few games anywhere that was still on. I think maybe I was able to count on two hands the amount of sports maybe they're still on or events, but it's literally like the finals. I think the mood was that actually once this was done, maybe the BBL would be stopping. But I say it was the last basketball we had. What a great way to finish it off. Both the women's and men's were great finals. Thought maybe we'd talk a bit about your final. What were some of your memories of the game and sort of reflections from the game? What went really well? What was a bit difficult for yourselves and the team?
I mean, playing Leicester, we had lost to them by 3 the first time, and then we beat them the second time. I can't remember how much it was, but it was less than 10. So we knew coming into the finals that it was going to be a good game and that it could have been anybody's game. We didn't play the way that we wanted to. And it's a testimony to also Leicester's good defense. I feel like they they scouted very well our plays. They made it very difficult for us to get into a rhythm. We had Betsy, who went off for like 14 points in like 2 minutes and a half, which was the most amazing thing, one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. But then for the rest of the game, they made our life really tough, and they did very well adjusting. But even though for a lot of the game we were down, and I think there was a point where we came back from maybe around 16 points. We kept fighting every part of the game. we gave ourselves an opportunity to win. Unfortunately, we didn't. We didn't do that, and especially it was probably hurt a lot more because we lost in the cup as well. But one thing that our team does really well is we stick together, regardless. We came out with a slow start. We said, so what? We're going to still try and keep doing the things we need to do, keep working hard, need to be better on defense. And we really did give ourselves a chance to win that game. But yeah, Leicester did a great job. I mean, their depth, their height. We are a small team, so it is harder for us to get certain shots, especially to the basket, that we normally would like. And Leicester did a great job of putting pressure on us in that sense. But yeah, they attacked. Our defenses. We switched a lot. They made sure they had guards going against our bigs, finding and creating advantages. But I'm proud of the way that we made their life hard throughout the whole game. And the third quarter was where we really kicked in. And if you could take the third quarter and from then on, and put that at the beginning. But when you play them, you have to put together nearly a whole 40-minute game. They're a great team, and they have been for years now. But again, I'm proud of the way that we fought throughout the whole game, despite the loss.
Yeah, I say it was a very exciting game to watch. I think everyone in the arena felt that too, whether they were just coming to watch the men's game or not. And I think it helped having Newcastle fans sort of cheering you on, and there was a lot of Leicester fans. It was a great atmosphere and a very noisy game to be watching. I think that third quarter was really, you guys really came alive. There was a lot of good 3-point shooting, I remember, and it was a very exciting game, end-to-end game to watch. It was a great advert for the WBBL and obviously the BBL after. But and obviously you touched upon that BBL Cup loss as well. Obviously, I think both games there was the other team had a really strong player, but overall, I remember watching both. I think it was quite a close game, but very competitive and really exciting both games to watch. I say Durham Palatinate have been really successful in the last 18 months and 3 finals in the last 18 months. What do you think makes them such a successful franchise? Obviously, I know you weren't in that first one, but obviously being with the franchise this season, what are the few things that you've sort of thought sets them apart from maybe the other teams owing to their successes?
Well, I mean, I played in Durham years ago, so I played for them the first year that they were in the WBBL, and we didn't do very well, as a lot of people know, and and it was our first year, and it was tough. So to see where it's gone from that to then making 3 finals over the next 2 years after that, it is just great, and we can only hope from going to those finals that next it's winning those, and that's what our aim is to do. I'd probably say we have a great team atmosphere. That's definitely one. This year was probably one of the first years I've probably been part of a team where there's been no issues and everybody has completely got on. Everyone genuinely cares for each other and wants each other to do well. We've had so many different games where different people have had their moment, and that's just a testimony to how much we work together. Also, having the new build that we have made in Castle, it's called Sports and Wellbeing Park now. We have access to 5 basketball courts, which is ridiculous. And we're fortunate that a court is free basically whenever we want. We don't have to fight with netball, volleyball, badminton, which is a luxury that a lot of teams don't get to have. With the new build, we have more access to S&C. Now we have our own performance gym, So we're not just going into like a public gym and working out, which makes a massive difference. And, you know, the work that our coach puts in, we do extra workouts outside of our training sessions, working on individual things that we need to improve on. So yeah, and then that's just how hard the girls work. You know, we put in the time, the girls put in the time. A lot of people study, a lot of people work as well as playing basketball. So yeah. So it really is just the work that we put in and the girls put in, and reaching 2 finals. And you know, we didn't do as well as we wanted to in the league, and we still was hoping to push up, because I feel like we was just getting better as we were going on. But I would probably say all that together is probably the reason why we had as much success as we did.
Definitely. I say it's a shame because, like you say, like I think you mentioned some really good positives from what you have done, but it's a shame me across the board, even in the pro league, like you're saying, it's challenges in court spaces, having the specialist S&C coaches. So obviously, to have that all there, it's really sort of showing why you guys have done well, making those great finals. And I think I always say about it on these shows, but the more and more I've done rebound, it's always apparent how hard everyone works. So hats off to everyone who actually, you know, players, coaches, volunteers. So I think it's quite easy to watch a game, and if you're new to the game, you have expectations, but actually when you realise that a lot of these people are volunteers, or they have to study because they're part of a university franchise, or they have jobs, it's an amazing amount of work you do. And I think it really, your hard work comes across. Say it was a really entertaining game to watch, and every game I've watched this season, it's great entertainment. I've really enjoyed watching the game. So it's congrats to you and the whole franchise. Obviously, the whole age game is really good to watch and great quality. Obviously, next I'll sort of talk about GB, and obviously, you guys are so close in that Olympic qualifier tournament, but obviously, you know, it's sad you guys aren't going to Tokyo, but I thought maybe we could talk a bit about your experience from that time and what was really good about it, and things you'll look back on it with a positive light. Because I think, especially in times like now, it's always just to have that sense of perspective of how far you've come instead of maybe dwelling on negatives too much. I thought maybe some of your experience from that time with the group of girls in that Olympic qualifying tournament.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you know, before I played GB, it's something that I didn't expect to be able to do, and then to do it with these group of girls, is something that I'll always hold in my heart, something I'll never forget. Um, you know, from the beginning of the campaign, to the Eurobasket, which I didn't go to, but you know, watching the girls become top 4 in Eurobasket was just amazing, to watch them make history and then give us an opportunity to go to the Olympic qualifiers again in itself was an amazing achievement. And many people outside probably thought that, you know, we wouldn't have been able to do that, especially with having funding cut because of our lack of achievements. You know, and us and the girls proved that we can compete with the best on the highest stage. You know, we hope that this is just something, this is a bar, and this is something that's going to be continued from other generations. But you know, again, it hurt a lot, and I can to not make the Olympics, and especially for the seniors who, you know, a lot of them been there from almost day one, and you know, it definitely, it was tough not making it. But all we can do, yeah, like you say, is take away the positives, and you know, we've done something that's never been done before, and we competed. We played really hard. The girls stuck together. We were positive through, you know, the whole thing. Chema is very big on his positive glasses, which is like known around the world now. But it does help. It does work. And you know, I think we got to show what we can do and what GB women basketball is all about. And hopefully we inspired many girls to be excited about playing basketball. We have everybody on our team is an amazing role model, and I would find it hard to believe if that wasn't the case. But we've definitely put ourselves out there to be recognized and moving up in the world rankings. So yeah, we just hope it's something that continues. The hard work that the girls have put in, it's definitely amazing, and we can only take from that we hope that we've inspired another generation. The people coming up with the people that are playing now, to keep that culture going. To put everything they have into it, which I'm sure they will. But yeah, no, it really did hurt not to make it, and I think we deserved it. We deserved it. The seniors deserved it, but it wasn't our time. But it will be one day. That's what I believe. We will get to that point. So yeah. So that's what I took from it. But it was an amazing experience. To be there with countries. We were supposed to go to China, which would have been amazing in itself. But then we end up in Serbia because of COVID-19, and you're in the same areas as the USA team and things like that, which was just an amazing experience to be around the other teams and to be in Serbia with our girls.
Of course, and back home, we're all behind you, and I think you've definitely inspired the next generation now. Also, I think you inspired maybe fans who maybe not disheartened with the whole funding situation to really get behind you, Dales. And I think you did an amazing well. You talked about that experience, maybe maybe something was like a positive, like a funny moment for being with the team, a happy memory that you would take with you from that experience.
Oh, it's hard to just to pinpoint one thing. I think one thing that for me was, this was probably one of the biggest, not probably, it was probably the biggest moment of, to be fair, actually, some of the girls played Olympics already, so that could come into it. But it was one of the biggest moments for most people on that team. The ability to make the Olympics, to qualify for the Olympics, which hadn't been done before. Obviously, we got into 2012 because it was hosted in London. And I think the positiveness I took out from it is to see, even from losing the first game, losing the second game, third game, after each game, the team always came together. And, it was, we know what we need to do better, but we're going to stick together. Positivity is key. We're going to push on. We never put our heads down. It was never a case of, this is your fault. That's your fault, and especially in big moments, things like that can happen. And everybody gave it 100%. So to be in that atmosphere, to see how the girls interacted in such an important moment in their life and in our life, should I say, is probably one of the biggest things and one of the biggest positive things that I'd seen, throughout the qualifiers and throughout the whole campaign. To be honest, for me personally, a funny story.
Yeah.
So, Sue Bird is one of my idols. Love Sue Bird so much. And she was obviously there in Serbia. She was actually on the same floor that I was on. So, there was, Hannah Shaw, who was my roommate, was like, you've got to go and say hello. And I was just like, I can't go and say hello. It's Sue Bird, And also we're there to play in the tournament. I didn't feel like it was appropriate. And this one time we were in the lift to go to our room and somebody ran to the lift to try and stop it, to try and get in. And it was Sue Bird. And she came and stood right next to me in the lift, and I basically choked and didn't say hello. I smiled at her, but I didn't say hello. And, Hannah was just laughing at me. And yeah, so that's probably one of my regrets. I didn't say hello. But no, but it was just amazing to be around those caliber of players, which is just something I couldn't have dreamed of. And the whole experience, despite the loss, was amazing for sure.
Definitely, I'm really confident you girls will make it. I say quality's there. Definitely from the outside in, looks like the commitment, more people involved to overcome adversaries, if that's the funding or other challenges. So it's really great to see what you girls are doing, and I really do think you'll get there. The evidence there, say the fourth place Eurobasket, and all those games, even though yes you lost, they were all really close games that I think you sort of said go both ways. And I really watched it. It really sort of diversified my passion. So I've only really got basketball the last 2 or 3 years, and also really made me feel invested to watch you guys, cheering you guys on. And I say I started out sort of wanting to promote the NBL, then I sort of watched other stuff and diversify my interest in a sense. And I'd really love your take, maybe. So when I went to watch the BBL, so the question comes because when I went to watch BBL Cup final, it was a great game, and obviously you girls got so close that I went in there like I wasn't too sure who was playing, what the teams were, and I was really lucky to have Graham Hodges. Graham Hodges was one of the photographers, and he obviously noticed me from when we went to rebound. And I was like, Graham, really looking forward to seeing, but don't know much about players, and he sort of taught me through a few of the players, and it definitely helped. So I was watching, I was looking up for the players you mentioned, and he sort of said some things that stood out for him, and I thought I kind of want to pass that on to the next person. I think obviously having you on with expertise, I thought maybe to say maybe a few players to keep an eye out from next season who typically play in the WBBL. So maybe when the season starts, games on, maybe someone's watching this. Nicolette mentioned this player. I'll have to keep an eye out. So maybe sort of a few players you think of that are household WBL players, but maybe deserve a bit more promoting.
Yeah, no, you've got the players. This season has been probably one of the best seasons of WBBL that I've seen. That at the top was very competitive. And the top was going from like number 1 to like number 6, which is great for the league, and a lot of people this year especially stood out. We didn't get to see the full year pull out continue, but first of all, I'd have to start with my teammate, which was only correct to do. Dee Haywood.
Yeah.
I think she didn't get a lot of accolades, a lot of notice in terms of like all-star fives, because of the way our team is. Everybody is able to chip in at any point, and it's quite spread evenly. But Dee has been amazing for our team. Top scorer, top assists. She's defensively great. So definitely, I have to say her. Kat Carr. Kat Carr is she's been in this league for a very long time, and she is I think she is the best all-around player. For her height, her size, to play that kind of point kind of forward position. She can score, she can create for a teammate, she can rebound, she can defend. So definitely, Kat Carr is definitely one of those who each year I would put her on my top 5 for sure. Who was my next one this year? I don't want to mess up a surname, so I'm just going to say a first name. She's Georgia from Newcastle. She, when we played them, she is a force on that team. She is constantly crashing the rebounds. I've never seen somebody get rebounds from all positions and putbacks and fouls, and I think she is the person that drives that team and gives them that energy and they did really well for the season that that we played. Who would be my next one? Well, gosh, I can't forget Joyner. I can't forget Joyner from Nottingham. Undoubtedly the best player in the league, for sure. She's dominant. In all aspects, she's carried Nottingham, especially with Strumpet, their point guard, who I think was top scorer last year, being out due to a knee injury. And Joyner by far would have been MVP. I think she's in the All-Star 5 like every week. Then I would go Sam Roscoe from Manchester. Again, a big player who can shoot from the outside, rebound, block shotter. She's definitely a main reason for their success on that team. And then probably lastly, Aisha Thomas from Sheffield, their point guard. I think she was top scorer in the league so far. And Sheffield were doing so well, and they were coming into their own the second half of the season. And I think they would have done really well. But it's tough because there's so many players this year that are so good. There's Mante from Northumbria, there's Newcastle, sorry. You've got Georgia Jones from Manchester, and there's so many. I wouldn't know where to end with the names, but there's some people that have stood out to me this season.
Definitely, let's say when I watched both the WBBL Cup final and obviously the WBL Trophy final, both there were so many good performances and really exciting games. You had players who really good passers, players who were shooting the free really well. Both finals were really exciting, and so look, and I said what I'll do after this show, maybe tomorrow or Sunday, is do a little feature, write up on those players and learn a bit more. That's a bit of my weekend homework, as you say. So, and I always enjoy learning about games. It's really exciting, and I think when the lockdown closed, we got new season. I'm not going to take any bars for granted. I think definitely, can't wait for new season to start. I thought we'd just go back to that trophy final, we say, and we were sort of talking off there how it was a really good atmosphere, good crowd. I really hope that we talked about the pressures. Just we said obviously there's a lot of pressure being probably one of the few events on, and obviously a lot of pressure performing in the circumstances. But what do you think? Do you think cup games and trophy games need to sort of carry a momentum going forward? Maybe attract a new audience to the game. What's your thoughts on that, and maybe other challenges to sort of build in the game, especially for ladies side?
Yeah, big events, I think, definitely help to showcase basketball in general, and definitely women's basketball. You probably find a lot of people are, in WBBL, we definitely don't have as many fans as the BBL do. And so we don't have a lot of people following our individual games. This ties into what I think would help our game and be better for our game is we don't have many games that are streamed. So our league games, so it's not easy for people to watch us play. So when it comes to these big events, and the amount of advertising that goes into it, and it's linked with the men's game, a lot of people get to see something that maybe they've not seen before, especially in terms of women's basketball. A lot of people have said to me, they never watched women's basketball before, but they watched the finals and it was amazing, and they want to keep watching and things like that. So I think definitely big events definitely make a difference and help to showcase our game. But in terms of what needs to be done better, definitely for me, it would probably be, the advertising side of the game. The streaming of the game, even if it's, you can try and get somebody to stream it on Facebook, even if we started from there, I think that would be helpful, to have people, to get people watching. But I also understand that a lot of clubs don't necessarily have the funds, or maybe don't have enough volunteers to get a lot of these things done. So it is something that people hopefully are working on. And we've got to make it a spectacle out of the women's game. Um, and that's all it can. It's an important thing. It's something that is great to watch. And until people are shown it, then they won't get to see that. They have to be exposed to it, and we need more people to believe that that this is the case.
Definitely made some really good points there, and it's a shame that say the NBL's got a bit more live stream, but hopefully next season we'll see a bit more live stream of WBBL, because I think initially I was quite skeptical about live streaming. From my perspective, I thought a lot of clubs, they do rely on seats on bums, as you say, but I actually think maybe like not having that seat on bum, but having maybe 4 or 5 more people watch it via YouTube is probably actually the better of two evils, say, until we make the game bigger. One thing I've really took this season, so I've got to watch a lot of women's games, watching the Kestrels, having it all under one roof. And I think, like you're saying, the final, when the people go to watch either the men's game or they've gone to watch because it's a big event in their local area. So hopefully maybe clubs like Durham, who have that university set up where they track both, would be a good way to move forward. It's a shame that I think when I came in, I got quite frustrated quite easily. Like, why is this not really? Why is it not doing? But like you say, the volunteers definitely are the ones who work the hardest, and there's only so much work they can do. I really appreciate having it on and talking a bit about your GB and obviously the Durham and successes. And I thought maybe we'd finish it on sort of talking about maybe advice for other female players in lockdown. Maybe what sort of fitness routines you've been doing, or what you've been doing just to pass the time, in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, well, just for your own mental health and not to get bored whilst being in this, I've done a lot of 5K runs. And even if 5K is too hard, then, you can do less than that, especially the weather's been great. So just going for a run, keeping your fitness up, until the season's done, because, what you can do now in your time, there's not going to be a lot of basketball before probably the season starts. So it's going to be interesting to see, how everybody plays, not having that much practice time. But one thing you can do is you can keep in shape. You can, eat correctly. Again, it's tough in the lockdown. It's a lot of time off. We're not going to pretend that it's going to be easy to just eat healthily and things like that all the time. But, just try your best with that. And do other things too. Like, I've been trying to read more books. I think I've read like 3 books now in the time of the lockdown, which I don't usually feel like I have time to do so. And so that's it. And I watch basketball. I've been very occupied with this MJ documentary. I just wish there was one on every day. It's amazing to watch it. It's amazing to watch it. I just hate that it's like every week I have to wait for it. But no, definitely get out, go do some exercise, eat well, do something different, do something you've wanted to do, and watch basketball, learn, even if it's watching watching somebody else. Use this time to really learn the game and see in what areas you can improve on, for sure.
That's a really great message to finish it on. I say thank you for coming on, and say everyone try to keep busy, but also keep perspective if maybe not having a great day. Just say if you're home or work from home, it's totally new. So I think it's important to not be too hard on yourself, but also try and do your best, as Nicolette rightly said. I don't think there's any more shows
definitely.
after. Yeah. definitely, as I say, you say like the Last Dance. I'm sure pretty much everyone watching it has seen the Last Dance. I think it's really great. And definitely share your frustration. You got to wait till Monday, but actually, it's giving me structure. I'm not working. I'm like, what day is it? Like 6 days ago. What 10 days? So it must be Sunday or something. So I am looking
Yeah,
forward to
we
Monday.
know what Sunday. We know what day Sunday is. I definitely don't
Definitely.
know the days of the week, for sure. No, so
Oh no. Well, thank you for coming on. Stay safe and goodbye from me and Upstream Media. We're back on tomorrow for another show. You take care and stay safe, everyone.
thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. Goodbye, everyone.